What's going on, team? Welcome to an episode of the Keep Going Podcast, Season 2. This is your co-host, Luke Wheat, coming out of Knoxville, Tennessee. Before the show starts, make sure to follow us on our socials, okay? Twitter, the Keep Going Pod, Insta, the KG Podcast, and YouTube at the KG Pod. Just a reminder that we are not psychiatrists and not psychologists, just a couple ex-athletes trying to make a difference and end the stigma of mental health. Thank you guys for listening, and let's get to the show.
That keep going moment.
My keep going moment.
That's my keep going moment.
Let's keep going. Welcome, team, to episode 47 of the Keep Going Podcast, Athletes Shining a Light on Mental Health. Background up today for the KG crew. Super excited for it. This is Luke Wee coming out of Knoxville, Tennessee, joined by Pat O'Malley and Jackie Tripp. I do not know where Jackie Tripp is at, so she's going to have to tell us. Where you at, Jackie?
I'm in State College in Pennsylvania, but right now I'm in a cornfield. Not exactly on campus, but near the campus.
Got it. Well, it's nice to obviously have Jackie here with us. I knew I was a little bit scared for her safety when she jumped on originally, but I'm glad she is in the building with us today. If you don't know already, Pat O'Malley, co-host already. We got Marta coming on today. Super excited. And Luke, I think number 47, Tom Glavine, maybe?
I'll give you that because I didn't have a 47.
I don't know.
Sure, but Glavine's a shout.
Marta, what are your favorite sports? Do you know a number 47?
Hockey's my favorite. So, and I knew that I was episode 47. So I was like, who is it? Wasn't Chris Cooley 47?
I'm gonna give you that too.
Perfect.
No,
and then I'm gonna fact check it after. For right now, I'm gonna give you that. So
Okay.
all good. Jack, you have a 47 floating around?
I think Marta's my new 47. This girl runs Ironmans.
Fair enough.
She's mine.
Fair enough. All right, deal. There
She's
it is.
my 47.
Oh, love it.
Episode 98 to shout out Bedard.
Yes, we'll get to that point.
Yeah.
I promise. We'll get to that
Got
point.
silky mitts.
Guys, so nice. Guys, so nice. But Mark, on a completely different note, we appreciate you jumping on and especially having us all here together. We always ask our guests what you did this week for your mental health. So I'm gonna have you kick it off if you don't mind.
Yeah, absolutely. I have been trying to prioritize my sleep more because that's something that I will always push to the side and be like, no, I can push through. Like, I don't need to sleep. So yeah, just trying to get those hours in so that I'm nice and rested and I have all the energy.
I was about to say, if you don't mind me asking, 7 to 8 hours, 9 to 10, what is your range?
It's more 7 to 8. I don't know if I can hit the 9 just yet.
All right. We'll definitely keep us posted there. It's definitely important. Luke, how about you this week?
For me, it was kind of just getting back in the workout routine. So I talked to Pat about this throughout the week, but just making sure I'm getting at least 3 days a week in the gym. Fall break, so it was a little bit more chill of a week for me. So I was able to get 4 or 5 in. But with school coming up this week, grades being due, comments being due, and a couple games on top of that, I think 3 is a realistic number for me to be able to hit while also still making some good progress.
No, I agree. I think that 3 to 4 is the sweet spot for a lot of people. And if you're going mornings or evenings or whatever you're getting it in, I think it's important just to do something. So I've seen you grinding all week, man. I'm proud of you and what you're doing for sure.
Appreciate you, brother. Appreciate you. What about you, Pat?
Yeah, man. So I've been, once again, for the 90th episode, getting back with my people has been my thing again this week. I think Friday I had a work event with my whole company, which was fantastic. And then Saturday I had a 30th birthday for Jay Gallo, one of my best friends in the world. So getting back with good people in good settings, being able to socialize with hundreds of people and not be overstimulated. I think that's tough at times, but being with good people, trying to make an impact and shake hands and kiss babies a little bit, Luke. You know the deal.
There you go. A little politicking.
Yep, you know it. All right, so I'm going to go into the point of the interview here. We'll get Jackie back on with whatever part of Pennsylvania she's in. It's not good connection-wise. But at this point, Marta, tell me a little bit about yourself. Not only that, but why you're here, why you felt like, hey, I want to take a Sunday, jump out with the KG group.
Mm-hmm. I mean, to start with the second question, I guess, I just have been following you guys for quite some time. Well, I guess like I started kind of my whole journey about 8 or 9 months ago now, the whole Ironman thing. And so I kind of wanted to combine that with anything mental health and athlete related. And so I was following Hidden Opponent for quite a while. And then I don't know, I guess just through the power of social media, I found you guys and I was so interested and I just listened to pretty much all the podcasts, I think, at this point. I just went back to the start and just listened to them and I connected with a lot of the people that you had brought on. And so yeah, just like kept following you guys and then you reached out and I was like, I think it's definitely something that I'm super passionate about. And every day I wake up as an athlete and I wake up trying to spread positivity and just be an advocate for mental health. And so I think I'm a pretty good fit for
I
That,
agree.
hey,
your
that checks all the
podcast.
boxes. That checks
No, I
all the
agree.
boxes for me.
I know Luke's gonna say this as well. Oftentimes I tell our guests and our listeners that we have a lot of people that reach out trying to come on. And when you bring up someone in a room like yourself, Marta, that has your background, it's an absolute slam dunk. Like we were like, we have to have this girl on. Like you have been someone that has been so supportive of our platform and making noise in the social media community and everywhere else for the last couple of years. So we appreciate your support and everything you've done for us as well. I just want to shout that out. Go ahead, Luke.
Thank you.
100%. I think there's a reason I open up with what's going on team, right? And Marta is kind of the perfect signifier for that. She's connected with people from past episodes. She's been on the journey with us for a long time, 47 in. She's listened to a lot of episodes and been involved in the community. So we're super appreciative for the support that you gave us, and we wanted to show that back. And you were a perfect fit for today. And Jackie hit the comments here, and she's got a great question. So a lot of people know what our conventional sports are: football, basketball, baseball, that good stuff, soccer. But not everybody's familiar with an Ironman. But you are a finisher of 70.3 miles. Talk us through an Ironman real quick and let people know what an accomplishment that was.
Yeah. So 70.3 is actually a half Ironman. So my goal is to
Okay.
do a full. So I haven't even done a full Ironman, but so the
It's a lot to me.
70.3, yes, it's still a lot. It's still a lot. But yeah, so it's a triathlon. So you swim and you bike and you run. But for the 70.3, I'm gonna say it in kilometers so I don't mess it up. Because I'm Canadian.
Yeah,
But
first Canadian on the KG podcast, by the way. I just want to shout that out. Go ahead.
yeah. I'm happy to represent. But yeah, so we do a 2K swim and then you hop on the bike, you do a 90K bike, and then you do a half marathon, so 21 kilometers. And that's the half. So for the full Ironman, you do the same thing, but just double the distance for everything. And I had never done a triathlon when I started. I just like jumped in right into the Ironmans. I was like, go big or go home. So
Love
it's a
it.
really
Yeah.
big challenge. And now I'm training for a couple more 70.3s, so the half distances, and then with the goal of eventually being able to feel strong enough and confident enough to be able to
I
do
want
a
to say
full.
working your way up, but 70.3 miles, I feel like we're already like just killing it anyway. So
Yeah, we're
Yeah,
there.
I
We're
pretty
there.
much jumped in.
No, and Marta, obviously being an athlete myself, we're all former athletes, as you know, former college players, current and former college coaches. The physical side, I'm gonna be very blunt. I get it. It probably sucks. Like the training is hard. Like it's really tough to get through it. Talk to our listeners about the mental side of things and what you've done to kind of keep going. I hate to use the mantra, but to keep going on the mental side of things.
Yeah. So for me, it actually was I started triathlon and I started Ironman to help with my mental health because I was a figure skater. So I've been figure skating my whole life. And then um, when I retired from that, I kind of got into a little bit of the dumps and I was a little like lost and I was like, I don't really know my identity. And I was like, I don't know who I am without skating. And then my friends were just like, do an Ironman. And so that's kind of how I got into it. And now it's like, yeah, the training every single day, you put your body through some crazy training and it's super hard. But every day I'm like, I am just so grateful that I'm able to do this, that I have the opportunity to be able to move my body, that I'm healthy enough, and I have the support around me to be able to do that. So it's kind of like, even if I'm going through a really tough workout or the race itself, it's just like I always come back to gratitude and just being like, this is so cool that I get to be able to do this. And that's kind of what just keeps me rolling. And I have so much fun doing it.
She's taking the
Luke.
gratitude walk to another level. She's taking the
Yes.
gratitude. She's
Yes.
like, a mile walk is not enough for me. I need 70 miles of gratitude. That's what I need.
Luke, I know you're feeling the same, man. We're 10 minutes in here and I'm absolutely loving this already. So I want to build off what you just said about the gratitude piece and kind of, even more about the ice skating stuff as well. So you said you had some mental health issues, you had some struggles, some setbacks. You started doing Ironman, you started getting with your community, doing all that. Walk through some good times back in the ice skating stuff, because I want to know, and our listeners want to know as well.
Yeah. So I started skating when I was little. I was 6 years old, skated all through high school. And then I was like, okay, like I'm kind of good. Let's see if I can take this somewhere. And so I tried out for the national team that was in Montreal, so the other side of the country. And then I ended up making the national team out there. And so I moved there and I went to Concordia University while skating on the national team. So I was only a part-time student, but I was skating at the same time. And pretty much in those 6 years, I got to travel the whole world with my best friends, representing Canada. And it was just super sweet, like getting those experiences. Because, yes, again, training, super hard. And just so much time and effort was put into being on this elite team. But then getting to skate in front of the whole world and getting to travel and just, yeah, have so many fun experiences with my friends was definitely just amazing, and the cherry on top of getting to skate on this team. And then we worked our way up. So the first couple of years we weren't really winning. But then in 2022, we won the world championships.
Congratulations.
Yeah. So
Yeah,
it was
congrats
just,
on that.
thank you. It was amazing. I didn't ever think, my goal growing up was just to be able to make this team in the first place. And so I never really thought we were going to go that far. But a lot of hard work and just believing in yourself, honestly, and working together as a team. And we made it. So that was definitely a highlight of my career for sure.
No, I really love that. We're talking about figure skating. We're talking about ice skating. You do a lot of this stuff, technique work, and it's kind of an individual event, right? So I love the fact that you brought about your teammates and how much they supported you and how much y'all supported each other. I love that fact that no matter whether it was an individual event or not, you were still supporting each other. So for me, kind of talk me through, who were your biggest supporters at the time? Who kind of kept you going in the right direction back then?
Yeah, my dad has been my biggest supporter since day one. He's my best friend. And I wouldn't be able to do anything I do without him. He's there every single day through the goods, the bads, through all of it. So he's been just absolutely amazing. And then also my coach in Montreal, when I really was kind of down and not doing okay, she was the one that helped me take it day by day and keep going up that ladder, like one step at a time. So she was just a huge support. And sometimes I think a lot of athletes are kind of intimidated by their coaches or feel like they can't open up to them and be honest. Like you have to put on this kind of like facade or wear a mask and be like, I'm this super strong athlete. Like the coach needs to think I'm, the top dog. But it's like, no, we all have our bad days. And I think it's really important to be able to reach out to your coach and be honest. And I think that's kind of how you grow together. So she was a huge support and still is and always will be for sure.
For sure. Kind of touching on that, that's Pat here real quick for me after this, but as a college coach now, I think I see that with like our freshman girls and guys, they never saw me play, right? So they don't know, like, yes, they know I was an athlete and they know I was a goalkeeper and stuff, but they don't know that I made the same exact mistakes as them all the time, right? And so they don't have to be nervous. And our head coach talks about it all the time. I would rather you mess up trying your hardest, and I'm not going to be mad at you for. In soccer, we're talking about bad touches, bad shots, all that stuff. If you're trying your hardest, that's okay. You're going to take a bad touch, you're going to take a bad pass, you're going to take a bad shot, all that stuff. But you can talk to us about how you're feeling, what you're seeing, and all those things, and don't have to be worried about. So it takes our freshmen a little bit to kind of get used to that. I wanted to touch on that real quick. Pat, what do you got, man?
Yeah, I'm loving this too, because it's not often we get athletes on here that have done high level athletics in completely different realms, right? Like, these are not the same. I would love to sit here and say these are the same. They're not. So my question is, with the Ironman stuff, with the figure skating, with stuff you did maybe as a kid or even high school, how did it prepare you for where you're at now? Like, talk to me about your day-to-day now and how that's really pushed you to get where you're at.
Oh gosh. Skating has just shaped me into who I am today, and learning everything through being on the team and honestly going through the hard stuff has made me so much stronger. And so now I coach figure skating as well to some younger teams here in Calgary. And I think also just like my daily training, I have been able, from all the lessons I learned from the national team and just working on my skating every single day since I was young, it's like I've learned so many lessons and I truly bring those with me every day that I wake up. And I think gratitude is my big thing. So just realizing everything that I've gone through, being like, that's so cool that I've been able to do all that. And I've learned so much. And I wake up and I'm like, let's use that and let's keep growing.
Yeah.
So
Absolutely.
yeah.
So
no doubt.
So for me, some of those hard times. I know to win a world championship, it was not easy, right? I know there was some struggle there. I know there was some adversity there. Talk to me a little bit about the adversity.
So yeah, winning the world championships is much easier than having to go through some hard mental health times. I just will put that out there. It's so much harder to be able to put yourself first every day and prioritize your health. But what happened to me was I had broken my foot my first year on the ice. And so that year we were supposed to go to Worlds. And I was in a boot and I was crutching around. And I was really upset because I was like, I made this team and now I don't get to skate at Worlds. And so when I came back from that injury, I was like, I'm going all in and I'm going to dedicate everything I have to bouncing back. But it kind of actually took the wrong turn. Like, I pushed myself too much. And then I developed anorexia. So I had, I developed it in that summer, and then I had it for about 2 or 3 years, and now we're just still working through the recovery process of that. But yeah, I had the eating disorder for a while, and it just took me out of the sport and out of school actually for the whole year. So all I did that year was just I was an outpatient clinic at an eating disorder clinic in Montreal. And so I would just spend my days there, and then I would still go to the arena every day. But I would just sit at the boards because it wasn't safe for me to be skating at that point. And I had to take the year off of school and just really invest in myself. And it was the best thing I've ever done for myself, because I wouldn't be here today and I wouldn't have won Worlds and I wouldn't be doing Ironmans if I didn't prioritize myself for that year. So it was hard, but again, grateful for it.
The vulnerability here to like talk about this is like something that catches my attention right away. Wow. Okay. I had no idea about that. If you can tell by my reaction, to get through all that is so powerful for our listeners that that are listening that might have some of this going on, if you wouldn't mind, and this is up to you, can you expand on how you kind of got through that, more of like a day-to-day kind of thing, if you wouldn't mind?
Yeah. So pretty much when it happened, what's common with eating disorders is that there's a lot of just oblivion, and kind of when you're in it, you don't know that it's actually happening. Even if 100 people will tell you, you just, that demon in your head is so strong, you're like, no, it's not true. But then you have all these doctors and stuff kind of telling you like, no, we need to take a step back here. So what happened to me was my coach, my skating coach that I had mentioned earlier, she brought me to this clinic and she was like, we need to do something about it because it's just getting so bad. And so pretty much is what I did every day was I'd wake up, I'd go to this clinic. Luckily, I still got to stay at home. But I would wake up every day and I would just do breakfast, lunch, dinner, snacks at this clinic all day long because I wasn't capable of like eating or preparing food at home. And between the day we would just do therapy. So we did group therapy, we did drama therapy, I had a psychologist, there was dietitians, just all of the resources. So you kind of just like hop through your appointments all day, and you would eat together as a group. So there was just a lot of support. After each meal, we would kind of debrief the meal as well and just be there for the other people at the clinic. And then I would finish my day there. And I was still at the beginning, kind of my only reason for going and admitting myself to that clinic was like, I need to skate again. Like, I need to get back on the ice. It wasn't at the beginning, it wasn't to become healthy and care about myself. I was like, I just need to get back on the ice. That was kind of like how I started doing therapy. But yeah, so I'd still go to the arena afterwards and I would just watch everyone and be like, okay, I need to do this. I need to get through this in order to be on the other side of the board soon. And that was my day for the year until we could slowly start integrating skating again.
You are
Gosh.
you're extremely motivational. Like, that's extremely inspiring, because we tell our athletes all the time, and you mentioned the identity piece early on, and I was trying to figure out like where I lost like this, but I get it now. You touched on the identity piece, which our athletes struggle with at times. And then we go into the setback, and all you wanted to do was compete in the sport that you loved. And when you got it to that point, things started to make sense. So for our athletes out there, just to expand on this a little bit, for our athletes listening, coaches, friends, whatever else, understand that what Marta went through was extreme. But what got you back to where you needed to be was consistency and that dream of being able to do what you love again. And I think that's, oh man, I am ear to ear over here. Luke, what do you got?
Yeah, I know, man. I know. The dedication, and I think the identity piece is huge, Pat, right? Marta, you touched on this. You were so focused on getting back to skating, you weren't even worried about making yourself healthy. So making that transition of Marta the skater to Marta the person is so crucial, right? And that's something that you're fighting for world championships, or whether you're playing on a JV high school team and trying to get a spot on the varsity roster. Those struggles can kind of be mirrored there. And I just want our athletes to know that you're more than your sport, more than your position on the field. And that's one of the most important things to me. I think Pat and I both struggled with that a little bit. So it's so great to hear that somebody at your level was able to kind of get to the other side of it and also get the help you need. So I'm super proud of you for overcoming that struggle and still working on it every day, of course.
Yeah. Well, that's something that I try and preach to all athletes now. I'm like, make sure you know who you are outside of the sport and you take time to, like if you're training every day in high school, take a day off and go hang out with your friends from school. take a day off to just do whatever makes you happy so that you learn about other things that you like outside of the sport, and you know who you are and you're happy with yourself outside of the sport. Because I think it's super common for a bunch of athletes to stop their sport and they're like, who am I? Like, what do I do without this sport? And so I try and just encourage athletes of all levels. Like you said, you don't have to be an elite athlete. You could be just on like a varsity team or a high school team, or, you know, any little league team. It's all good. But just knowing who you are outside of the sport, I think is key to success in life
I
in
think
general.
this is a little random sidebar, but I think too, when you think about, you know, a lot of the progress that you've made in your life, right? And this is kind of just generally speaking, you can hit mental blocks and you can hit roadblocks, and sometimes you can't power through them, right? Sometimes what your body needs is just that rest, time to process stuff. That processing time is huge, and that usually comes from taking days off, you know, and getting with people you love. Pat's been doing that, I mean, for 80 some weeks now, right? Like that's what it comes from, is taking a break from something and then getting back into it with a lot more energy and a lot more motivation. So yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah. No, I agree. And to kind of branch off of that as well, there's a quick question for you, Marta, as well. I think, once again, this is primarily a lot of athletes listen to this podcast. Do you have a quote or like something that you told yourself, or like anything that you'd recommend for kids that are either in those dark days, or even they're like really positive, which it seems like things are going really well for you now, but you still have tough days? So any quotes, anything you say to yourself to get you through it, journaling, any of that?
Yeah, there's a lot.
Yeah, I
But
figured.
kind of what I do now is I just tell myself to dream big and work hard. And that's what I tell um the girls that I coach for skating as well, because a lot of them are like, "Oh, I'm never going to make it to the top." And I'm like, "But that's what I thought too. I thought, no, I'm not good enough." But I truly believe that every single person is capable, and just reminding yourself every day. You're like, "Yeah, I'm enough. I'm capable of doing this, but I need to believe in myself, and I need to every day wake up, have that mindset, and then use it as energy to work on that goal." Because I think showing up for yourself every day and being consistent is just absolutely key to anything that you want to achieve. So if you have your goals, you need to be like, okay, how am I going to show up today for this goal? And it looks different every day. Your 100%, you know, is relative to how you're feeling, but you need to be like, okay, this is how I feel today, and respect that, but work to your 100% ability of that day. If you're sick, that means resting in bed all day, and that's your 100%. So that the next day, your 100% is going back out and, you know, like working super hard, getting in that good session. So just checking in, I think, every morning, checking in with yourself and realizing what you need, and then being like, "Okay, yeah, I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna get there one day. I just need to take it day by day." I think
Run
that's
that,
kind of
run that back, Luke. Run that back. You are such a ray of sunshine. Like I'm so happy we brought the backgrounds out today of all episodes, because like this is who you are now. It's so uplifting. It's so refreshing. Luke, go ahead.
No, absolutely. It kind of reminds me, and earlier when you were touching on, when you were going through these troubles, you were still at the rink and you were still hanging out with the girls and the team. We got a kid on our team that stress fracture at the bottom of his tibia. Like, was playing the night before. No idea he had this stress fracture, and woke up and could barely walk the next day. Right, and so that injury came out of nowhere. And he's a freshman, so it really showed me you know, encouragement that it didn't matter that he's injured. He's still been at every single team thing, every team meeting, every team practice, on the bench. He's committed to encouraging his teammates. He's committed fully to the game at present, even though he hasn't been able to play in almost a month now. And honestly, I just love the dedication there, and I love the commitment to helping other people as well. And so that's kind of what that reminded me of earlier. But yeah, man, this has just been an amazing story from you. I love what you've been through in your career and how you've overcome things.
No doubt,
Thank
no
you.
doubt. And that's going to take me to what we ask everybody, right? Like at this point in time, you might have touched on a little bit of it already. Tell me your keep going moment and how you got through it.
I mean, there's been so many. There's been so many keep going moments.
Marta, we've never heard that before. I'm sorry. Like
Oh.
I'm just kidding. Go ahead. Go ahead.
Never got that one.
It's so hard to pick one, but I think the first one that I had was when I was in the dressing room with my team and I had to tell them that I couldn't skate anymore for my health reasons. And I think when I was sitting there, I was bawling my eyes out and I had to tell them, I was like, I can't be on the ice anymore. And I think that's kind of when it switched. And I was like, okay, we're going to keep going every day and I'm going to give it my all to get back on the ice. I think that was one of the biggest keep going moments I had. And then another one was I was doing my Ironman and I was in Venice and I was biking. I was at like kilometer 50 and I was getting tired. Like I started to feel the legs. And I was in my aero position. So it's kind of when you're like tucked down on the bike. And I have a tattoo of the National Eating Disorder Association on my arm. It's like a little flower tattoo. And I got that kind of when I was going through my recovery. And so I was on this bike and it was hard. And I looked down and I saw the tattoo and I just like, I had a few tears and I was like, no, I'm strong and I can do this and I'm enough and I'm going to push through. And just having that like self-confidence and just I told myself, I was like, yeah, keep going, like you can do this. Those are two that kind of stick out for sure.
I love it. I love it. I think Jackie has a little bit of connection. So if she does, I'm going to have her chime in on that. Hopefully Jackie can hear me okay. We'll see if we got her. All right. Well, we might have lost her. It's all good. It's all good. No, I appreciate.
All I know is she got back in the car. I know she got back in the car. And she's
at one bar. So as long as she's safe out there in Pennsylvania, I don't care about anything else. But what I want to wrap up with is this, and I ask my guests on one-on-one through my real job with NCSA, and we ask our guests on the pod all the time. If you could tell one thing to your younger self, what would you say?
Again, so hard. But just to put myself first, put my health first and my happiness, and to believe in myself and then just show up every day and be consistent. I think just as simple as that, putting yourself first. And you're happy.
You, Marta.
Not easy.
Not easy.
Right.
Yeah.
Some days are definitely tougher. I appreciate the time today. One, I know Luke and Jackie feel the same. And this would be so good for our listeners to know there's people like you that got through that. People like you that now positive stamp so many lives. And I'm very blessed to know you. I'm very happy that you came on today. And I set the bar very high for this and you exceeded it by a lot. So thank you for being you. Luke, what do you got?
Oh, absolutely. I just want to say good luck. You know, you're for big things, right? You're going to do an Ironman here in the future and you're training for that right now. Always just keep yourself first, right? Super proud of your career so far. And I know you'll do that. So good luck with everything to come.
Thank you. And I just want to say thank you for everything that you guys do, because on my down days, I would listen to other athletes and I would look at them and I'd be like, wow, like other people are going through stuff and they're going to keep going. And so I think it's just amazing all the work that you've been doing. So I'm very grateful to have a community like this.
Oh my goodness. We're happy to be a small part of it, right? I think without THO and Morgan's message and countless other people in this field, in this realm, in this fight every day, right? I think it's so big to have strength in numbers. So you kind of being in our network and finding us through THO is like, this is the second guest out of the last 3 that found us organically. It's just like, that was our goal, right? We wanted to just touch lives and get out here and spread the message. So you're living proof of that. So thank you for jumping on. But lastly, we do this thing now, Mikey Tosado's episode. It's got to be like 10 episodes now, where we give a guest their flowers moment. So we want you to allow to talk on something that we haven't touched on yet. So the floor is all yours.
I guess having fun. That's my other thing.
Yeah,
that I
let's
will
go.
preach
Hit me.
every single
Nice.
day. So I think it's just super important that, yes, we're working hard and we're doing all these crazy things and we're pushing ourselves. But again, just to stop and be like, okay, but at the end of the day, I'm just doing this to have fun and be happy. So I think it's super important through your training to just enjoy the moment and be grateful for your teammates and have fun with them and take the time to just enjoy life, because what's the point otherwise, right?
Luke, I love this girl. I'm not gonna lie, I could talk for 6 hours. Like this girl
I know.
makes me feel so happy right now. Like I can't even explain this.
Marta
Like
check-in.
I do.
A weekly Marta check-in.
Love it. Let's do it.
No, you are amazing. I've said
You're in
it
for
multiple
48.
times. That's it. That's it. And we're gonna have you back after you complete the full one. I definitely need more. I feel like we're not done with you yet, but for our listeners that might not have time to listen to the whole episode, shout out your social medias and we'll get you out of here, okay?
It's just Ironman Marta. So Ironman_Marta, but with 2 A's. That's my social. So, and if you ever have questions or need someone to talk to, or just be like, what the heck is an Ironman? I will answer all the questions.
You are all that and then some. So I appreciate it. Luke?
I just appreciate you. Good luck with everything in the future, and above all else, keep going.
Keep going. Appreciate it, Marta. Thanks.
Thank you.